So are we headed for a recession, a soft landing? Will my retirement be safe? Lots of questions for investors out there. We might have some answers for you. Dan Oweiler from Sterling Financial joins us. Thanks for joining us.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Nice to meet you, too. So is that the big question? Are those kind of the big questions your investors are asking you, these guys, this day?
Well, everybody wants to know what the market's doing.
Right.
You know,
you want that certainty, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's... If I knew, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know, you could be in the Bahamas and sipping Mai Tais or something, you know, but, you know, everybody, you know, wants to know what's happening, and nobody can predict the market.
Right.
It's just how much risk or how much volatility you want to take in your retirement years. And the older we get, the more conservative we see.
The more you want to go towards safety, right?
Yeah, they tend to be that way. You know, I mean, a lot of my clients, you know, give up some of the upside to protect them against the downside. And so, you know, you just kind of have to sit up and develop a plan that fits for your own personalities. And there's a lot of different investments that you can pick from. You know, it's just how aggressive or how conservative you want to be.
Okay. So types of investments, you know, the world, we have risk versus potential growth. Let's talk a little bit about kind of
the world of safety and the world of growth.
Yeah, those
thing.
Worlds, right?
Yeah. The world of safety kind of, I on the slide I said it's the worlds that guarantee you'll never be poor.
Yeah.
The world of growth says you have the potential to be rich. You know, it's just, you just don't know. So when you start getting into the world of growth, your principal is volatile, or it has the volatility of the markets, but you can make a lot of money at the same time. The world of safety, you're going to probably be more into guaranteed type investments where your principal is safe, but you're not going to have the opportunity to make the 20 or 30% return.
Right. Do you try to get your clients to a point where they have enough of the nest egg where they can just kind of live off the interest of that and never touch the principal? Is that like the goal for most?
The goal is to have an income stream that you're never going to outlive, okay? So you base that on pensions or Social Security and along with your investment returns. And if you need $6,000 a month to live on, so to speak, and you're getting $2,500 from Social Security, then you want to be able to develop a plan that's going to, you know, between the safe worlds and the investment worlds, so to speak, that develops that $6,000 a month. And so you want to have peace of mind in retirement. You don't want to be whipsawed back and forth through the markets, not knowing what you're going to have every month.
Right. So I think it's probably important for a lot of people who are retired or close to that retirement to be able to say to themselves, okay, this is kind of guaranteed in terms of when I get to that point, I'm good.
Correct. You want to be able to say, okay, if I have $500,000 or $1 million of assets and I can do 4 or 5% on that, that's going to generate $50,000 a year of income. That's $4,000 a month, and with my Social Security, that gives me what I need in order to pay the bills and enjoy the lifestyle that I want.
Right, and I'm never touching that nest egg unless there's emergencies, which still come up in life, right?
Well, the thing that people need to realize is that spending principal is okay. Whether or not you end up with $800,000 at the end of the year versus $1 million, you know, isn't that critical as long as you don't outlive your money, you know? I mean, the investment scale spreads all the way from putting your money under the mattress all the way up to cryptocurrencies.
Right. You have that scale. We'll take a look at that slide real quick. So, you know, you have like the money markets and U.S. bonds on one side. That's just safe. That's kind of that's about the closest you're going to a guarantee.
2 years ago, it was pretty tough because we were getting what, 0.5% in CDs.
But those numbers have bumped up.
5%. You know, and so that kind of gives us a little bit of breathing room, but that doesn't take into account that inflation was 8% last year. You know, so you got to kind of bring that into focus as you're saying, I don't want to put everything in CDs, but at the same time, I don't want to expose my retirement to volatility and end up losing the money.
What's your thoughts on crypto these days? I know the crypto was like, you know, the gold rush for a little while, but it's really, you know, it's fallen on some hard times in terms of that.
This is just a personal opinion. If I don't understand it, I don't get involved with it. And so if people want to do that, that's fine, but I'm not the guy for that.
Right.
Because, I mean, I deal with, safety and security for my
Right.
clients, and, whether or not they earn 8 or 10% on their money as opposed to 4 to 6 isn't going to change their lifestyle. But if they lose that money, that ends up impacting them
For me,
much more.
crypto never made a lot of sense because it's like it's a currency and it's investment. I want my currency to
Well,
be.
the problem is there's nothing backing it.
Right.
It's all perceived value.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So there's nothing really backing it. There's no government backing it on this. It's
Right.
just perceived
And it's
value.
not like they're making widgets. It's not like there's no profit statements from the company of crypto, right?
You
So
know,
it doesn't.
I had one guy that put in $2,500, and if I hit it big, okay. If I lose it, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can lose $2,500.
So that gets us to like the risk allocation. Okay, I want some. Okay, I might throw this away money out there. How do you balance that with maybe an early investor who has money to move around a little bit?
Well, again, it's going to go back to how much assets you do have. Somebody that has $2 million can lose $1 million and still be okay.
I wouldn't be happy.
Well, but I'm just saying that you still
Right.
have $1 million. But somebody that has $500,000 and loses $250, that impacts them tremendously. So
Right.
it just depends upon the personal assets that they have going forward in regards to how you want to allocate
Right.
that. We talk about.
What's the right allocation then,
Yeah,
in terms of
I
what you
mean-
guys when you sit down with a client, what would you usually for the average client say the right allocation is?
Well, there's what I call my retirement house, so to
Right.
speak.
We got the up on the screen there.
and the amount that we have in our safe and secure, moderate, and risk assets will depend upon your stage in life. Okay.
Right.
Somebody that's just starting out in life, they've got 30 years of life ahead of them. They want to take a little bit more risk because they can kind of ride the markets out. Somebody that's retired can't afford to lose the money at that time because they don't have the time in their life to recover. So, if we have somebody that's retired, generally I want to have 75% safe, 15% in moderate, and 10% in risk assets.
Right.
But that's just me. The next guy might say, no, we can do a lot better than that. But, for me, my clients would much rather give up some of the upside to protect them against the downside. And so as I'm setting up this retirement house, so to speak, I'd like to see, a 75, 15, 10 type of scenario where if you end up losing that 10%, it's not going to impact your entire retirement.
Right. And that, like you said, early and later investments. So really, it's kind of a living document or living kind of plan where we're talking to you on a kind of semi-regular basis in terms of the lifetime of my investment portfolio.
Right. You want to kind of set something up that's kind of on autopilot where you don't have to. You're not day trading, all of your assets all the time,
Right.
And I have some clients that like to day trade. And let's just set a portion of those assets aside for that, so you don't end up impacting your entire retirement by day trading.
It's not that's your casino money. That's
Yeah,
not your.
if I lose it, it's not going to impact my life, type of thing.
Right.
So, I tend to take a more conservative approach as we go forward because, I think losing money at this stage in people's lives affects them much more than making extra money.
And when someone comes to you, last question here, when someone comes to you maybe late in their years and say, hey, I really haven't planned. I really haven't done that. So what's some of the advice you give someone who's going to retire maybe 10 years, but they don't really have that nest egg that they should have had?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, right?
That's discipline.
Right.
You've got to, quote unquote, pay yourself along the way. Take 10% of your assets or your income and pay yourself so you can start developing that. And if you don't, I saw a little cartoon one time, and it says, "Hey, I'm retiring on Friday," and the guy says, "Well, cash all your money out into pennies and go to the wishing well," just because he hadn't saved anything, And so, if you're not disciplined, you're kind of gonna, these people that depend on Social Security for their entire income, you might end up in that boat.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no wishing well for us, Dan.
Hopefully.
Thanks from Sterling Financial. Thanks so much for joining us.
We've been able to avoid the real rains, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the hurricane that was coming in.
Yes.
Well, we got a little bit.
We're weathering the storm.
Yeah, that's right. Weathering the storm.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to
Appreciate
have
it.
you.
All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking to the Republican Club. You're watching This Day.